Hello everyone, my name is Brett Bennett. I serve as the assistant golf professional currently at the Country Club of Sioux Falls here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. One of the things that I enjoy most about my career is being able to give people the gift of golf and the ability to play each day. And there are many of you maybe out there or just golfers who are beginning that need to have a good foundation to be able to play the game well. And where we'll start today is we're going to talk about the golf grip. Now, generally during my summers in the position that I hold, I will give generally over about 100 golf lessons a summer. And this may range from, again, like I had said, beginning golfers to advanced golfers. But one of the first things that I always look at with anybody that I'm starting to give a lesson to is their grip. We use our hands. We've got the golf club here. The only thing that connects us to the golf clubs is our hands. So I feel that our most essential aspect of teaching golf is the grip. Now, as we start to put our hands on it, I'm going to talk in terms of someone who is right-handed as myself, and we'll just go over some of the basics, how we're going to position our hand on the golf club, both our top hand and our bottom hand. Secondly, what different types of grips there are that you can choose from, as there are 3 different types depending on a couple of different things that we'll address as we get here a little bit later in the video. But first and foremost, we've got our golf club here. I want to talk about our top hand, which in my case as a right-handed golfer is going to be my left hand. So as I go ahead, I usually have my students go ahead and flex their fingers, and I want you to take those fingers and I want you to just wrap them around the golf club. Now, as you can start to see, my knuckle line is going to be on the back side of the grip. Now, as I go ahead and flip this over, I want to show you that I have almost no part of my palm on top of the grip at this point. What this is doing is that it's allowing my fingers to wrap around, and I have complete control with just my fingers, and I haven't even placed my palm on the golf club at this point. Now, as I have control of the golf club, our next point is that, again, just elaborating, knuckles are along the backside, palm sitting on top. Alright, so that's the first thing, is that we need to get the grip in our fingers and not allow our palm to overtake the grip. As I go ahead, keep my fingers around the grip, I will then take my palm and I want you to put it flat on the top of the grip. So again, the backside fingers are wrapping around the grip. My next point is that our palm is going to lay flatter on top of the grip. Now I'm going to get a little bit closer here. As you can start to see, with my thumb in the kind of inner part of my index finger, I'm going to create this V. And as I go ahead and stand here, as if I were to go ahead and hit a golf shot, that V is going to go up towards my right shoulder, as you can see, pointed up at my right shoulder. Now, as I look down at my left hand, I want you to be able to see 2 knuckles. Alright, some people, I'll get up here, we'll start teaching them the grip, and their hand is what I would is very weak. Alright, as I start to strengthen my left hand, my knuckles are going to come over, and I'm going to be able to start to see a couple of my knuckles on my left hand. I want you to be able to see too. Now this is strengthening our grip, ultimately going to allow us to, as we take our golf swing, going to be able to release the golf club and send that ball down our target line. So, as we have now established our top hand, or in this case the left hand, I've got my fingers around the backside, palm sitting on top. This V that I have formed is going towards my right shoulder, in the case of a right-handed golfer. I touched on earlier where there are 3 different types of grips. First is a 10-finger, in the case of which all 10 fingers are going to touch the grip, similar to what I would call a baseball style grip. We see a lot of beginners start to use this grip. Some of you may be familiar with baseball or softball, haven't played that. it's kind of a good transition grip from those games to the game of golf, and allowing you to get a solid foundation and be able to start with a nice grip and something that is easy to translate. The second one that I'm going to talk about is where I interlock. My top hand of my pinky, or my index finger, and my bottom hand of my pinky are going to come together and physically interlock. Now, as I do that, the one thing that I want you to do with your right hand is, we've got a nice little crease that is formed right in the middle of, again, my right hand in the case of a right-handed golfer, or even for a left-handed golfer, it'll be the crease of your left hand. But ultimately, the crease of that right hand is going to fall right over this left thumb. Now, if I do that, and I'm interlocking, this is going to allow my hands to come together and start to act as one. Now, the main difference between that baseball 10-finger grip that I was talking about is that our hands really start to become separated. As I use a 10-finger, as I start to interlock, you can start to see my hands come together and really will allow us to work as one. Now again, with my right hand, crease falling over the left thumb, I have again formed a crease with my thumb and my index finger. That, once again, is going to go towards my right shoulder. So we formed two V's. They are going towards our right shoulder. That will allow us to have a nice, strong grip. Again, be able to release the golf club as we start to swing. Now, our third option, what we call an overlapping grip. Pretty similar to the interlocking grip, but the overlapping is going to go ahead and take the index of our top hand, the pinky of our bottom hand, and we're just going to lay that pinky nice and right over the top of that index finger. Now, when we are looking at those last two different types of grips, I'd put them more in the intermediate golfer or the advanced. One thing that I look for with those two grips, are potentially a little bit bigger hands. That will allow the hands to come together, act as one, and provide us with a little bit more togetherness as we swing and allow those hands to work together. Again, we are addressing one of the most important parts of the golf swing, and it really is a big foundation and doesn't have too much to do with the swing, but it's a principle. The grip is something that has to be focused on and allow us to play some of our best golf. So any lesson I give, again, whether it's beginner or advanced, intermediate player, I always look at their grip, seeing if things are in the right place. Ultimately, our hands allow us to release the golf club and swing it as efficiently as we can. Last thing I want to touch on with the grip is our pressure. As I've got students on the lesson tee each day, we start to make a grip change, and people really start to focus on their hands. And what tends to happen is that we start to really grip tight on the club. And what that ultimately does is, for example, if I go ahead and take my pressure on my grip and get it really tight, you can do this as you're sitting there too. Just go ahead and kind of clench your fist. What do you feel? You feel your upper body start to tighten up. And in translation for us with the golf swing, it doesn't allow us to turn and allow us to move as freely as we would like to. So the one thing I want you to focus on as you get your grip established, whatever you choose, we've got our V's going towards our right shoulder, overlapping, interlocking, 10-finger, whatever it might be. The last thing I want you to focus on is your pressure, because ultimately your pressure will allow you to make successful swings and good swings. And with it being really tight, it's not going to allow our upper body to move as well as we would like and swing as freely as we can. So, as I had touched on, the grip is the first thing I look at when I start to give a golf lesson, and I feel like it is one of the most essential aspects to playing as good a golf as you can. And as we start to work on it and tweak it, it really becomes a foundation for us to be able to establish ourselves within then a stance and starting to make a full motion. So once again, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully this helped you a little bit with your grip as you start to head out to the range. Right now we're during the winter, but maybe you can make some swings inside, or as we get into the spring, go ahead and head outside and get some reps out there. So again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the golf grip.